My name is Mick Mulcahy. I'm a family man, married, not on the banks of the Swan River, but on the Swan River, actually in a boat uniquely called the United Endeavour. And we had a fantastic hoolie back 25 so years ago now. In fact, you know the reputation of the Irish. We got to the wedding dinner and I fell asleep in the wedding dinner. Not at the wedding dinner, but actually in the dinner. So that'll tell you the party animal I used to be. Anyway, yeah, I had a radio career. I've been involved in networking and team building for 30 years with varying degrees of success. I'll be very honest, we've kissed a few frogs, myself and my business partner, Ger. We've also stepped on a few landmines. We've become innately aware of what to look for as regards red flags. We know when the red flags are not in existence, but you know, the lack of red flags can sometimes be a little subterfuge. We're looking to turn everything that's missing as a red flag into a definite green flag. And I think this is what we've got here. So I'm not going to be too formal with the presentation today. Some of you have been on it already. I will get across all the information to you. It's going to be a lot if it's your first time. So please ask questions at the end. I've asked a special guest to join us at the bottom of the hour, so I'll get after it now because he's only got about 15 minutes time. So I'll try and get through this in 25 to 30 minutes. And we'll take our guest for some questions. A very, very successful man from South Africa in this program, Mirror Trading International. And then our other business colleague, Tim, will join us for those who want to stay on to take on a look at the optional referral program. And I stress it's 100% optional. We'll get to all of that. So let's start with the presentation. First, some unofficial slides, then we go into the official MTI presentation. We're going to be talking today principally about Bitcoin, the first digital currency, and it's a form of electronic or digital cash. So for those who don't know much about Bitcoin, let me tell you, it's the daddy of them all. It's 67% market dominant. That means the other 5,500 or so digital currencies combined in value only reach 33%. It's fully decentralized and was designed so by its anonymous inventor, Satoshi Nakamoto, in 2009. And in fact, when you divide down to the 8th decimal place, because you can buy a minuscule fraction of Bitcoin these days, those are actually called Satoshis. So it's fully decentralized. That means that there's no Bill Gates or Warren Buffett or Jamie Dimon at the head of the board of Bitcoin. There's no Bitcoin building or computer. There's no Bitcoin server. It's fully decentralized. It's held by those who hold it. It's like gold. Some people wear gold. It's tangible. You can hold it. You can wear it in a necklace or a ring. Some people do the same with Bitcoin. They hold it privately in their wallets. Some people collect a lot of gold, and some governments keep gold in vaults. And there are also Bitcoin whales, as they say, people who have over 1,000 Bitcoin in their ownership. And there are super whales as well, which I'll show you in a coming slide. It's a huge phenomenon. $30 to $40 billion US of Bitcoin trade volume occurs every day. You'll see all of this in the website marked in blue, coinmarketcap.com, including the market dominance. But Bitcoin's been the top digital currency in volume and in value since its launch. And because it's democratized wealth, anybody can open a wallet for free. Once you have an internet connection, you can begin to trade or collect, sell and buy or store the Bitcoin. But indicators right now, we believe, are positive for an increased demand for Bitcoin, which can only increase its value. The next 3 slides will be of interest to you if your name is Marty McFly and you have a DeLorean time machine. But if you were, you might go back and buy some Bitcoin in May 2013 for €112. You'll see the market cap to the left of the arrow in the next 2 slides as well. This is all from coinmarketcap.com. You'll see the circulating supply to the right of the arrow also. So 1 year later, the price has gone up to 413. The market cap to 5.28 billion. This is euros now, not Aussie or US dollars. And the circulating supply to 12.786. And just about a month ago, Bitcoin was trading close to 9,000 euros and went over $10,000 for a brief period. It had been at one stage over $20,000, folks. The market cap a month ago, 164 billion, and the circulating supply, 18.379 million. We've seen in our lifetimes most of the supply of Bitcoin we'll see in that circulating supply column, because there will only and ever be 21 million Bitcoin as an absolute maximum set out by the principles of cryptography by the inventor Satoshi Nakamoto. And because the last Bitcoin won't be mined, very much like gold again, you mine it from the ground. With Bitcoin, you mine it digitally. It won't be mined for about 130 years. So the Bitcoin supply is slowing down. So we have, it's slightly increasing quantity of Bitcoin over time, but to all intents and purposes, we have a finite supply of what's becoming a very notorious and valuable item. I mentioned super whales. These two gentlemen claim to have thought of Facebook and given the idea to Mark Zuckerberg. Certainly Mark Zuckerberg was doing something along the same lines. But billionaire Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss took an estimated $76 million from Mark Zuckerberg, who his lawyers said famously in that movie, The Social Media, "Don't worry, boys," or "Don't worry, Mark, this will be a drop in the ocean." And so it proved to be. But these guys are the owners of Gemini, the world's first regulated exchange for digital currencies, reportedly owning approximately 1% of all Bitcoin. And now the institutions are gathering. The institutional herd has gathered. The New York Stock Exchange owns a platform called ICE. Now, this is one of the most respected custodian and trading platforms in the world today, and respected by all the major banks and financial institutions. Well, a sub-company or a subdivision of ICE is now a global platform called Bakkt, which is set up to accept and be custodians for digital assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and many, many more of the ones you see on coinmarketcap.com. So this will open the gateway to approximately 500 million investors who are currently not in the crypto market. You may or may not have heard of Tiki Tiwari. Well, he's the multimillionaire Wall Street trader who's been concentrating on digital currencies for the last 4 years. He's adamant the big investment banks and institutions are about to go full in and all in on this sector. As quantitative easing and the printing of cash is causing rampant inflation, digital currencies will be the way of the future. So the general consensus among the elite is that the market capitalization will skyrocket. If you go on coinmarketcap.com, you'll see today it's about $250 to $260 billion. They reckon it'll go to a staggering 80 to 100 trillion within the coming 15 years. That's a multiple of 300 to 400x in value. When I say the elite, there's one man at the top of the elite who maybe doesn't agree or didn't agree, certainly not in September 2017. The CEO of the largest bank in the world, Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan Chase, called Bitcoin a fraud. He said the end game is exposed, don't touch it with a 40-foot barge pole. Within 48 hours, members of his family and all of his traders in JP Morgan Chase were caught buying Bitcoin in the 24% market dip that he caused to the price. So he's known in the industry loosely as the boy who cried wolf. He's had subsequently to apologize, but we leave him there for now. I do promise, though, we'll come back to Jamie Dimon and his bank, the largest bank in the world, towards the end of the presentation. But for right now, we're on the last unofficial slide. We're about to move into the official part of the presentation. So we're going to show you how you can acquire Bitcoin if you don't know how. If you have some, how you can introduce a little bit of it, whatever you're comfortable with, to Mirror Trading International, how it's affordable with a suggested $100 minimum Bitcoin investment. And yes, we are allowed to say the word investment, though we're not financial advisors. More on that. An accessible program that's open to all, simple and fully transparent. It's secure and very, very safe. Into the official slides now from Mirror Trading International. And our trading overview begins with the necessary caveat, the disclaimer that says the information shared in this presentation should not be construed as financial advice. We're just members of MTI. We're having a blast. We're having a really enjoyable social time, but we're growing our Bitcoin like crazy. But we're not financial advisors. We're merely sharing our personal experience of this opportunity. And you're going to hear a couple of mantras over and over again during the course of the presentation, like past results don't guarantee future results, and the company is not an advisor. It's simply providing trading services, etc. They offer you one simple thing, one simple opportunity just to grow your Bitcoin portfolio. It's not promising to make you a trading superstar. It's not promising or selling any education packages. It's simply inviting you to hop on board the train at whatever level of ticket you can afford to purchase. There are no contracts. There are no big pressures. We're just giving you the information. The simple premise of MTI is to grow your Bitcoin portfolio. Trading services are with Bitcoin as the base currency. That is one of the fundamental important features of MTI. You'll see how important it is as the presentation goes on. MTI prides itself on its consistency. It has had immensely consistent results over the last 13, 14 months, and we can vouch for the 100% transparency of everything it does in its operations, who's in charge, what's happening, the corporate governance, the size of the community, the amount of value that it's representing with its AAA rated brokerage, etc., etc. Transparency, you'll find, is 100% in MTI. So those are the values and services of MTI. But why Bitcoin? If you know anything about Bitcoin, you know the price fluctuates, and that will interest you perhaps if you're a speculator. So as the price fluctuates, so does the representative US dollar value, which is needed to show you the value of your account in MTI. So Bitcoin slips a little, your account value slips a little. Bitcoin grows a little, your account value grows a little. But nobody in MTI, since they've joined, and there are now 73 going on 75,000 members, I think. I think the 75 will be announced today. Nobody in MTI has had less Bitcoin after a trading day than they've had the day before. So it's been a growth pattern very consistently since the beginning. Now, of course, some people have less Bitcoin if they've withdrawn, and that's, of course, the proviso. But if you leave your Bitcoin to grow in MTI, it's been 100% successful so far. A lot of people won't believe that, but we can show you. We have audited proof of same. So trades are conducted daily on your behalf. Just a couple of people in the waiting room here. Let's let them in. Just joining. Okay. So trades conducted daily on your behalf. That means you don't need any trading knowledge, but you will receive full disclosure on trades conducted daily. You'll get them almost as soon as the market closes. They're in a huge spreadsheet, 7 or 8 pages long, hundreds, if not 1,000 trades, and many of them loss-making, many of them profit-making. What we're trying to tell you is that MTI has never had its loss-making trades be more than its profit-making trades. So there's always been sometimes small, sometimes very, very healthy profits on a daily basis with MTI. You can take these trades if you know a broker well enough who has MT4 platform capability and get them checked out. Every time they will tell you, yes, these were genuine trades that were conducted yesterday on the MT4 platform. These are genuine loss-making trades, they lost money. These are genuine winning trades, they won money. And when you add them all together, yes, there is a positive result. That's what an independent assessor can tell you. So MTI, once again, only offers you the opportunity to increase your Bitcoin daily, because your Bitcoin never leaves its Bitcoin state to be traded for anything like a dollar, a yen, a euro, a pound, etc. We believe the future of Bitcoin itself is bright and guaranteed. So let's talk about the trading. We use trading software which is leased exclusively and deployed exclusively for MTI members. That deal is done. The software was 2 years in existence with its creator. It cost $11 million to create, money which Johann Steinberg didn't have to buy the software at that time. So there's a profit share deal done with the trading software and the brokers. And that is what keeps MTI so healthy and so vibrant and so legitimate. The software and the brokers trade Forex, foreign exchange, from Monday to Friday. That's about a $6 trillion a day market. Once again, the account-based currency is Bitcoin. Daily profits are automatically added to your trading pool. So you can join, sit back, come back in 6 months without having switched on your computer and look at your results in the office, your back office. There's no need to interact on a daily basis. And we are living in the real world, folks. So trading results vary every day. We had a very healthy return yesterday from the trading. I think it was about 0.48 of 1%. So your account in Bitcoin would have grown yesterday passively by 0.48 of a percent. The day before was slightly lower, 0.12 or something of a percent, but still positive on a daily basis. There are no withdrawal fees, and there are no joining fees, administration fees, or subscriptions, and I will elaborate on that. Profit in MTI, most importantly on this page, is generated through trade only. The company trades and has been trading successfully every week. At the end of the week, all of those trading profits are distributed. At the end of every trading day, the trading profits are distributed to us, the members. Some of the profits distributed weekly, but essentially Johann Steinberg cleans the slate, distributes all profits, and the company begins trading again the following week. This has some very interesting perspectives for those who wish to build a team in MTI. And if a lot of you are team builders, you'll be very interested in one particular facet of that, which we'll get into in the later part of the presentation towards the end of the hour as we go into the optional referral program. So for now, trading software exclusive to MTI members, the most profitable software, I think, on the planet today. And here's the transparency on how the profits are shared. The members share 40% on a daily basis. This is paid daily. It's most important because the daily compounding is a hell of a lot stronger than weekly compounding. Johann could have chose weekly compounding, but no, it's daily compounding. And you'll see the power of that in a later slide. MTI takes 10% to run its offices, to update its software, to keep its back office servers migrated if they need to migrate to more capacity. We're growing at an exponential rate. And from this 10%, which Johann Steinberg trades his own profits, the company has been become really on a sound financial footing. And Johann Steinberg is quite generous with the Bitcoin that's in the company's preservative, like what they've earned is also shared among members temporarily. We'll get into that later on today as well. Now, the traders get 25%. It used to be 30%, but Johann did a deal to bring them down to 25% because of the exponential growth of the company and the more money that they were making using the same software. That 5% he saved, he didn't keep for himself in MTI. He put it into a leadership bonus. There's a P1 bonus of 2.5%, P2 of 2.5%, and a binary commission of 20%. All we'll cover later on in the referral part of the presentation. But for now, loosely, there's 25% for marketing that's there, and this is paid every week from trading, okay, not from new money coming in. That's something I'm going to elaborate on as well. Cleared every week, paid out, clean slate, company starts again. Now, what makes MTI different? There are so many things, you couldn't fit them on one page. Let me start with fees. We live and operate and thrive in a fee-free environment. Somebody said to Johann last week, you've 70,000 members, Johann, why not charge them $10 a month? Everybody would pay it without complaint, and you'd have $700,000 a month to run the company. And Johann said, no, I promised a fee-free environment. I'm already making enough for my 10% in Bitcoin to more than run the company and to be generous to the team. I want to help people, and I can't help my fellow South Africans without giving them a fee-free operation. So no registration fees. You don't pay to sign up. You don't pay a subscription. You don't pay a monthly subscription, as I said. No administration fees. There are no packages to buy. There are no compulsory entry levels of $500 or 500 euros, 1,000 euros. You can put in as little as you can afford in Bitcoin. There's a suggested minimum of $100, but even that's not written in stone, okay? No packages, no contracts, no expiration of your Bitcoin capital, no risk to the Bitcoin capital, which is a big, big thing our special guest is going to speak about. Full transparency, I've promised you, and that will be a given. A proven track record, I'll show you. No trading knowledge, giving you a truly passive income. Most importantly, folks, it took me about a week to get my head around this. I was asking my sponsor, no, I can't understand it. I just can't get it. If I get a referral commission for bringing somebody optionally to the table, how does my full Bitcoin capital go into trade? Because I've been involved in opportunities where you might lodge, say, 500 euros, and suddenly 20% is taken and only 400 euros hits your account. And you ask why? Oh, that's to pay the network, that's to pay the team. In MTI, let me really be clear on this. If you lodge 0.123456 Bitcoin to your trading pool, exactly 0.123456 Bitcoin land that day when it clears after 3 verifications on the Bitcoin blockchain, lands in your account. 100% of your Bitcoin capital goes into trade. The daily compounding growth means simply, if you lodge 1.123456 for Monday's trading, so it has to be a full day's trading. So let's say you lodge it on Sunday and it clears. You've got a full day's trading on Monday with 0.123456 Bitcoin. Then, as part of the community, you will hopefully earn some bonus commissions on that for your participation pro rata in the trading system. That will add to your 0.123456. So you might have 0.134567 or whatever at the end of the day. That becomes your closing Monday bonus. Trading level becomes automatically your opening level on a Tuesday. And that goes on a daily basis, 5 days a week, as the market trades 5 days a week. So the daily compounding growth is really strong, and I'll show you that as well. Withdrawals are quick and really, really easy. They're slightly slower over the weekend when the office isn't as manned as it is during the weeks, but there's no restrictions on your withdrawals. No withdrawal fees, there's no waiting periods, nothing like that, no cancellation fees. MTI is insanely clever, insanely compliant, insanely legitimate, and is here for the long haul. The Bitcoin price perspective, once again, that DeLorean time machine would have told us, buy it in 2015 when it was kind of at a low, not as low as it was when it was launched, but and then sell because you have the benefit of hindsight at the end of 2017. To be fair to Bitcoin, the yearly high price has been slipping slightly, but now it's really stuck between the $9,000, $10,000 mark. It's a kind of a psychological barrier, the $10,000 mark, and there are a lot of experts who say when it breaks it, it'll break it with a run. And that's what we're hoping for, a bull run in Bitcoin. And the reason that we're looking and hoping for that is this graph, which is much more important than the yearly high price of Bitcoin. The yearly low price of Bitcoin has never been lower on a consecutive year since 2015 than it has been the year before. So people are holding Bitcoin more, and the low price is higher and higher and higher every year. The Bitcoin price track record has been very good, 54.5% over the last year. It's even 29.5% up since March this year. More importantly, if you're looking at MTI for the first time, what's our current track record? MTI's current track record for the last 8 months of trading, audited and historic, September 2019 to April 20, 40% of member profit gave 141.76%. That's an average daily profit of 0.5334%. Say 0.5% a day, 5 days a week, will give you 2.5% per week. You'll see that line running loosely through the returns. So how could 2.5% a week or 10% a month over 8 months give you 141%? It doesn't seem mathematically possible. It's because of the daily compounding. As I mentioned in the Monday, Tuesday opening balance Monday becomes closing balance Monday, and that's higher and it becomes the opening balance Tuesday. The daily compounding is the real power of growing your Bitcoin portfolio. You'll see we had a low week in the second week of April, under 2%. Boo-hoo-hoo. Imagine asking your bank manager to give you 2% in a year, not to mind in a week. But the following week, it was up to 3%. So roughly the 2.5% runs through that. You can get a link from your referrer to get started. You can create a profile for free. You can look at all the corporate governance documents. You can look at how much Bitcoin is in trade. A lot of the windows will be at zero unless you lodge some Bitcoin. That's optional. Your free account will last for a week to allow you to do that. You can buy Bitcoin on various platforms. We'll help you to do that if you don't know how. And you can fund your MTI trading account with a suggested minimum of $100 USD worth of Bitcoin. Trading starts automatically, truly passively, and your daily profits compound automatically as well. We will get in later in the hour to the referral program, which is entirely optional. And if you do come across opportunities where you must recruit to be successful, that's a major red flag. Referral programs in legitimate operations should be only optional. They can be lucrative, they can help you leverage your success, but they must be optional. So this is an added lucrative business opportunity and another great way to generate more Bitcoin. So the person who referred you to this video will show you all of that. The last slide of the official presentation, we'll give it to the great motivator, Tony Robbins, and that's making good decisions is the ultimate power. Now we're going to look at a couple of case scenarios. One is a bad case scenario and one is a good case scenario, but we're just trying to be honest. So we'll have to assume some metrics for the purpose of the next exercise. We'll assume that 1 year ago, you bought a Bitcoin for $10,000. It doesn't have to be a Bitcoin, it can be a fraction of a Bitcoin. But for the purpose of the exercise, you bought one Bitcoin for $10,000 and introduced it to the MTI trading platform 1 year ago. Now, these are projections, they're not guaranteed, but we are basing them on the last 10 months audited results of MTI. You buy a Bitcoin for $10,000, woe betide, the Bitcoin price drops over the course of a year to 4,000. But because MTI offers you the opportunity and has successfully done so of increasing your Bitcoin store, it's now grown to 3.13 Bitcoin over 12 months. Multiply that by 4,000, you still have 12,523. If it dropped again to an all-time low over the last 6 or 7 years of 2,000, in 2 years, based on the past trading results, your Bitcoin should have grown to 9.82 Bitcoin, or 19,640. So having Bitcoin and MTI has proven in the past, let me stress, in the past and up to today, to be the best place to hedge your Bitcoin against a drastic drop in price. But what if, as expected, not guaranteed, but expected, Bitcoin rises modestly over the next year or two? Remember, it's for about 10 seconds, it traded over $20,000, but peaked roughly around the 19.9. It was at $20,000, $20,001.50 for about 30 seconds. Our friend Tony Lynham actually was at his computer and got a snapshot of that. But anyway, let's imagine that Bitcoin increases in price to 12,000 over 12 months, not beyond the realms of possibility. Now your 3.13 Bitcoin is worth 37,560. Once again, it increases over the next 12 months following. That's 24 months from now. Can you see Bitcoin at 14,000? Well, if you've 9.82 Bitcoin after 2 years in the system, it's now worth 137,480. So not only is MTI and its program a great hedge against the deflation in Bitcoin, it's a wonderful multiplier when you have your Bitcoin store growing. And if, as expected, not guaranteed, the Bitcoin price rises, you've got a double positive multiplier. And multipliers in Bitcoin combined with daily increases in compounding, the daily compounding is quite the it's quite a lucrative opportunity if you look at it with your eyes open. Obviously, we're not asking anyone to borrow any level of money to put into this. Please only submit what you can afford. And by all means, come in small, kick the tires, get confident before you increase and trust MTI with your Bitcoin. That's what we all ask of you. The top performing investments over the last decade haven't been Apple, Amazon, or Netflix. The two top ones have been the two biggest digital currencies, Ethereum at 17,900% and Bitcoin at 62,500%. But I'm going to go through the 6 most powerful elements in confluence that exist here in MTI. And I'll pause briefly at the end so anyone who wants to take a screenshot can take a screenshot, okay? These are the 6 unique, proven wealth generating opportunity factors that exist only, we believe, in the world today in this company, MTI. It's a company of tremendous integrity. When you get to meet online Johann Steinberg, you'll know exactly how transparent, open, and honest and generous he is. It has an impeccable track record. That's often to its detriment, because people who have any experience in trading will tell you it is impossible not to have a loss-making day. It may be impossible for them, but it's not impossible for MTI's software. So we are also using a AAA rated international brokerage. I know the brokerage. We've been asked not to discontinue giving out the name and location of that brokerage because thousands of phone calls of supposed due diligence were coming in each and every day. So we have a AAA rated international brokerage handling in managed assets about $4.5 billion in value. The MTI slice at almost 10,000 Bitcoin now is up and around 93 million. So of 4.5 billion, we're a small fish in a big pond there, really. The second element is we are successfully profiting from the largest market in the world. They call it $1 trillion industry. $1 trillion is one with 12 zeros after it. Write down 1 million and then go 6 zeros more. That's a trillion. Okay, so $1 trillion industry we are in. It's actually $6 trillion a day. We use trading software exclusively deployed for the benefit of MTI's community and members. We use only Bitcoin as a base currency. It never leaves the Bitcoin state. It's a peer-to-peer system. It's faster. It's safer to get value to MTI than it is to effect a bank transfer. The company doesn't accept bank transfers anyway. Now, with this AAA rated brokerage, the Bitcoin and its value is fully secured. It's air gapped, which means it's off the internet, cold storage, and it is insured. The insurance is a necessary part of having a AAA rating and to be a brokerage of that stature. The Bitcoin, most importantly, is never traded for fiat currency, but leveraged for liquidity with a liquidity provider. It defines MTI as a fully legitimate and compliant company. No SEC or financial regulatory oversight because Bitcoin is an unregulated protocol. You must understand we are a highly regulated company in South Africa that deals in an unregulated protocol called Bitcoin, but we have it in the safest place possible, a AAA rated international brokerage. So it's never traded for fiat currency, but leverages value from a liquidity provider. No commissions are paid from new Bitcoin entering the system, okay? That would mark us out as a dodgy scheme. If any commissions were paid, then there is an incentive to bring people in. We want it to be optional. We offer the information, people join as an option, and 100% of their Bitcoin goes into trade. So all bonuses are paid from trading profits or past trading profits. Once again, Johann Steinberg discharges his obligation bonus-wise on a weekly basis. That's why we love Saturdays. And he takes Sunday off, I hope, to play golf. And once again, with a clean slate, we all start trading on Monday. It's insanely clever and once again, super compliant. There's one more before we get to the optional referral program. The daily compounding after trade closes Monday is super powerful. It allows members grow their store of Bitcoin powerfully, passively, and with longevity. And once again, we'll get into it later in the hour after our special guest. We've got a strong, entirely optional, 100% optional referral program allowing not just for personal scalability, but which is driving the company's exponential growth. There's over 1,000, our guest may tell us exactly how many people a day are joining, but as of 2 days ago, the 23rd of June, there was 73,000 members. There was 8,911.183400970. Johan even gives us the amount of community funds in the pool to the 8th decimal place. And just in case you think I forgot about Jamie Dimon, the man who said Bitcoin was useless, a fraud, don't touch it with a 40-foot barge pole, and was caught with his fingers and his hands and his family's hands in the cookie jar and had to apologize. What is the official position now on Bitcoin and digital currencies of the largest bank in the world, JP Morgan Chase. These are 2 articles released about a week ago. Bitcoin's market structure more resilient than currencies, than equities, than treasuries, and in gold. And the biggest enemy of Bitcoin, JP Morgan, now suddenly appears to be going all in on crypto. We hope we've given you an interest in Bitcoin if it's your first time looking at it. If it's your first time looking at it, Mirror Trading International, we hope we've piqued your interest there. You may decide not to join us in Mirror Trading, but to continue your education in Bitcoin and to gather some for yourself. And that, of course, is your preserve. We do hope you do join us, but obviously, whatever you do, we want to wish you the very best of luck. I'm going to leave you with a website which you can safely distribute to all of your friends. This was created by one of the people who invited you here today, Goran Hemstrom. It's called residualprofit.club. It has very much one of these presentations on it. It also has 2 other videos. One is an interview I did with Pete Muller from Durban, South Africa, and the other with both Pete and with Johan Kruger, who's on the corporate governance team. And just by logging on to the videos in this website, you will get a lot more understanding on exactly what's happening and how safe and how compliant and how legitimate MTI is. I know we have our special guest, so if you don't mind, I'll ask the host to unmute our special guest from Durban in South Africa, and that is Pete Muller. And I will stop screen sharing, and you get a look at Pete and his rugged good looks, and we'll ask him a few questions. Hi, Pete, are you there?
Yes, good morning.
Nick,
how are you doing?
I'm well? Good. I'm not in a great area coverage-wise, so I don't have my camera on.
No problem.
We had a couple of Australian leaders today, a little rattled, I'm told, and I've always told them there is no such thing as a dodgy question here. There's nothing we won't address. I'm not familiar with the company. I've sent you on the link. Apparently some pension Ponzi scheme collapsed today in South Africa.
Yeah, I did get that link. I see that article was actually from 2018.
Oh, okay.
One I got. But
okay, I wanted to address, I suppose, really, there are 2 things that come up when you're presenting a networking opportunity. And this is an affiliate program. It essentially isn't a multi-level marketing opportunity because you're only getting 1 level of commission. There is a binary program there. But people who really don't know what they're talking about will say, it looks to me like a Ponzi scheme. Or it looks to me like a pyramid scheme. In front of a room, if I'm ever presenting, I'll say, you know something? That's a great question. Come on up here to the front of the room and tell everybody exactly what a pyramid scheme is or exactly what a Ponzi scheme is. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Pete. How are we not a Ponzi scheme? It's because no commission is paid from any new Bitcoin entering the system. And when no money or commission is taken or drawn from new money entering the system to pay older members of the system, you are verifiably not a Ponzi scheme.
That's correct. Yeah, I mean, basically, the basic Ponzi scheme is, like you say, is when they use new money coming in to pay people out. And I mean, to me, that's why MTI, there's a number of reasons why MTI is so unique. That's one of them. That number one is Johan never charges any fees. Nobody's Bitcoin investment ever gets touched to pay anybody else. Everything comes from trading profits. And this is all going to be verifiable, not just by what I'm telling you now, but also with the full audit documentation that will be coming through soon. You know, and Nick, once again, you know, I know that I'm seen to be a special guest on this call, and I appreciate that. But the fact of the matter, the reason why I get on these calls is just to help other people understand and realize that from what I've been through in the past online, and there's so many landmines out there, and South Africa seems to be, or Africa seems to be, the place where these Ponzi schemes come out of, that's so people say. I can tell you now, number one, a Ponzi scheme in South Africa gets dealt with very harshly. You will end up in a South African jail, and that's the last thing you want to do. And with the structures that MTI are putting in place right now, and I mean, really, I haven't even been through all the emails that I've received from the COO, Ashabel, and as well as the gentleman by the name of Tom Fraser and a few others who are now involved in the corporate governance, which I had a call the other day. I'm actually more excited now than I was before about MTI because of the structures that they're putting in place. And I mean, MTI, the corporate governance, are wanting to take, we are not regulated in South Africa. It's a PTY limited company, so that is regulated. However, we're operating in an unregulated industry, but we regulate it, so it's very difficult to understand it. But for us, we cannot be regulated by the FSCA, which is the Financial Services Board in South Africa, as well as the FSB. They are here to protect people like you and our investors. So if they have any complaint, that is when they take action. So we are, on the corporate meeting that we were in 2 days ago, I was actually blown away by what actually has come out of it, the experience that these people have got. The one chap is actually, he sits on boards of massive, massive companies. He's involved in the corporate governance. And he's basically saying, we are going to take MTI to the Financial Services Board and the FSB and say, listen, this is who they know about us already. They already know about the MTI. And the only reason why they haven't done anything or said anything is because no one's complained. The only time they really take action is somebody goes and says, listen, I haven't been paid or something like that. And we know with MTI that won't be a problem. But they're going to actually go to the Financial Services Board, sit with them and say, this is our company. How can we make you guys happy? How can we be compliant within your regulations and what have you? And to me, that is like they're being proactive. They're not waiting for something to happen. Although we know we're safe in that environment, they're actually proactive about the whole situation. So getting back to the Ponzi scheme, no Ponzi scheme owner is ever going to go and expose themselves to any financial services board. And from what I understand and what I've seen in the marketplace, you'll find Ponzi schemes generally come from one-man bands. There might be 2 or 3 other people involved behind the scenes, but it's never a company like MTI where you've got a Johann Steinberg being the owner and CEO, the brainchild of it, starting MTI because of all the scams they had been caught in before, and then signing a mandate over for this corporate governance to be set up. And hopefully everyone on this call doesn't see this as a sales pitch, and they do put their foot in the water, even with $50 worth of Bitcoin if they want to. And then in time, over the next couple of weeks, when we're able to get Johann Steinberg and Johan Kruger and a couple other guys on calls like this, purely that people can meet and understand why I can be excited and why I can sit here today from an ethical point of view and share with you this incredible, incredible life-changing opportunity that we've all been waiting for. A company that can produce results that MTI do and have for the past 12 months, life-changing results financially, but also be a company that's got a vision to be around for the next 50, 100 years. As long as there's a market to trade on, and MTI will be around. And that's what really excites me about this company, Nick.
So refreshing when, some people get into networks to say we might get a good 1 year or 2 year run out of it. They never really look at the ethical nature. Let's get the pyramid scheme monkey out of the room as well, Pete. In a pyramid scheme, you verifiably have to recruit to succeed. You must find 2 people to find 2 people to find 2 people. When it's optional, as it is 100% optional in MTI, it can also be lucrative, but you have no direct compunction to bring anybody to the table. We have many, many passive members making exactly the same pro rata results every day as any other community member. All are equal.
100%. I've actually just had a call with a chap by the name of Wayne Rush. He invested a fair amount it was a week ago after really being skeptical. And he phoned me and he was so excited because he hasn't introduced anyone, but the growth that he's had purely just on a week's trading, even with a slight drop in Bitcoin. So now he wants to get his mother on board because she's in the UK actually. He's from South Africa. And because of that, because it's not a company where you actually have to go out and refer people to make money, you can come in as a pure investor and really just get a massive benefit. And what blows me away and many other people is that the fact that it's for free. And your Bitcoin will never, ever be touched for any referral commission or anything else but your own investment, and you've always got access to it. That's another thing, Mick, that is incredibly awesome about the company. If you had to put your Bitcoin in today and decide tomorrow, hang on a minute, I need half of it back or all of it back, you've got access to it. There's no lock-in period. You've never not got access to your funds, which is...
Okay, it's been no secret, Pete, with my limited intelligence, it took me about a week to get my head around the fact that there is a 10% referral fee that's paid. When it's not coming from the Bitcoin coming in, I couldn't see where it was coming from. But then, of course, it's Johann's insanely clever idea to pay it to people and to trust people, not to abuse the system, I suppose.
Yes.
He then showed us a spreadsheet where he said, if you bring in a Bitcoin, direct referral, I'll pay you 0.1 of a Bitcoin, 10%. It's released to you exactly 1 week to the minute later. Of course, you can withdraw it and abuse the system, but we're hoping you don't, because it takes me 26 to 28 trading days for me to make that money back that I've given you. But it's an insanely clever way of incentivizing team building.
Absolutely. No, it really is. They have actually put in the new terms and conditions, they have actually put some more, not restrictions, but just say, for instance, somebody is going to try and abuse the system, because you're always going to find that anywhere in the world, you're dealing with people. But if they do, if somebody withdraws that, say somebody invests and you get paid the commission, and that person withdraws all their Bitcoin out within the 7 days, there's in the terms and conditions, you'll find that there'll be a pro rata reduction from the sponsor, because it's generally the sponsor that's creating the problem. So the company is putting structures in place where it'll actually reduce the abuse of the system. You know, the thing is with regards, people say, how can the 10% be sustainable? When I met Johan in person, or was in Johannesburg, then he came down to Durban and we managed to play some golf and that together. And he was telling me at that time he had already accumulated, I think it was 800 or 850 Bitcoin, purely for MTI as a company. And now he's probably sitting on, I don't know, 1,000, 1,100 Bitcoin. So obviously it's a very clever business plan, and that's why he doesn't have to charge fees. But then he's also got a fund where he's very able to pay the 10% commissions. And like you said, it takes him 6 to 8 weeks to recover it as well in trade. So the whole system is
but all other bonuses and all other commissions come from the daily trade. Some of them are discharged on a daily basis, like your daily compounding trading bonuses, and others are discharged on a weekly basis on a Saturday. But essentially, Johan is cleaning the slate, and we start again with a clean slate on a Monday.
Yes. Yeah. So when you say clean slate, I mean that's on the trading side, but also on the business side, on the binary side, you're never starting from a clean slate. So that's
of course.
You know, from a residual income point of view, and I know there might be some people on this call who are purely just want to invest their Bitcoin and let it grow, and that's perfect. But for those of you who do decide to look at the referral side, it's that it never ever flushes, if you want to call it that. So every week I mean, sometimes I've been involved now 7 months, and my binary, I think there's been 3 weeks where the payout on the Saturday has been slightly less than the previous Saturday. So that's based on the trading for the week had been a little bit less, and as well as the amount of people taking part of that pool that is created from the trading profits. But I mean, at the end of the day, to me, it's a first residual, a real residual.
A real residual. I was going to get into it in our later presentation on the comp plan, but essentially, in any other binary, you've got to go out and make new sales every week to get any element of the binary to pay you. In this, once you begin to build on your weak leg, because of that clean slate, not on the trading, of course, but because the discharge of the profits to you, your commissions, is a clean slate at the end of every week. It's as if you're starting again with all this fresh volume. You've only found it once. You don't have to go and find new volume to get paid every week on the binary. That's another very important facet here.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, I mean, I must be honest with you, and I don't want to sound like a sales pitch, but I've been involved in a few networks before. I've been involved with a company where you can actually really create a passive, sustainable income without, like you say, Mick, having to constantly go out there and try and find new customers, if you want to put it that way. And with me, when I go and get new people involved, I mean, I've only introduced 50 people, and 8 of that has been my family. And I've got about 3,800 people now that are benefiting from MTI. Everybody benefits. And like I say, my binary powers now, I mean, it's awesome. I
know what you made last week. Are you prepared to give us a ballpark?
Yeah, well, I made half a Bitcoin a week now in my binary after 7 months. So, you know, that's because just remember this, it's 0.5 Bitcoin a week. So I'd even show you a screenshot of my last 6 weeks. So it was about 0.36, and it's gone up to 0.5 Bitcoin a week now. And so if you look at the Bitcoin price, it doesn't really matter what the Bitcoin price does, but if the Bitcoin price goes from $9,500 to $15,000, I mean, it's really, really life-changing incomes. Already it is for me. You know, I was fortunate enough the other day just to send a big chunk of money to my folks who are 87 and 84 years old. I mean, they were just like my mother just broke down when she received it. So to be able to do that, and I don't know if you were on the call the other day with Ignatius and his wife, and you know, I've got which was a webinar from, where are we today? Thursday. It was Tuesday, I think, Tuesday evening. So Ignatius and his wife, they were a year ago planning to, being a man with 3 small children, move into the veld with a caravan. That's where they were financially. I mean, and he had been successful before, but he had lost all his money on all sorts of schemes and scams. And he is now today earning 7 Bitcoin a week from MTI. So, I mean, they didn't really speak about that and the new Ferrari and the boat and this and that. All they spoke about was how they can help people. And we know how humble they are. And his wife, I mean, I've met her, she's incredible. They've already bought a place and put a lady that was almost ready to go out into the street. They've put her in there free of charge. There's a place for you to go and live. And I can see that type of thing coming out. That's a type of community we want to grow. And yes, we don't expect everybody to do that, but that's the type of mindset we want for people to actually have going down the line, to be able to pay it forward or help other people that are really in distress financially.
Pete, I know you very graciously came on this call this evening here in this time zone, this morning at this time zone, this evening in Australia, at very short notice. You have committed to coming on to next Tuesday's call for all of the Aussies who are tearing this apart in Goran and Daryl's team. So I think on Tuesday we'll concentrate on safety, compliance, you know, how MTI doesn't run off with your Bitcoin, how safe it is, the usual questions, the 10 questions we get from everybody who's starting. But perhaps to finish, before we go into the referral program, maybe just, could we just get your own personal story? I know we've all kissed a few frogs. We've all stepped in a few networking landmines. You had a checkered past as well. Your previous company was not the greatest. It's going through the process of the courts at the moment. And maybe just a little, don't want to get you emotional now, but maybe just a little of your success story with MTI.
So yeah, I mean, I won't go into everything, but 7 years I've been online now. Obviously, I'm an entrepreneur, so I've always been looking for opportunity, and especially living in the country where we live. We're looking at trying to earn a euro or dollar or whatever. Both my daughters are living on the east coast of Australia right now. They've been there a year and a half. And I can't wait to come and meet you guys over there when we can get there. But my online journey has really been, had some good times and some terrible times. And the worst part for myself is, fortunately, from a financial point of view, I was in the construction game, so we had factories and whatever, which we had rental income coming from. So I was fine financially. But a lot of other people who I'd taken in to try and help them to create a passive income or outside of the rand, they got burnt. And I got so many people that have lost lots and lots of money, including ourselves. We've made and lost. But we were fortunate financially not to be buried, but many other people have. So the last year, 2019, I did nothing online. I had enough. And my wife's family were actually like really getting pretty upset, and not saying too much, but I knew, and my wife had actually mentioned it to me. So when MTI came along, the UGR was that last one that just like was the end of the road for me. And that's a court case we are trying to push now, because it was seen as a fraud case. 2 senators from Austria, and they had me as running as the ambassador for South Africa. So you can understand my involvement, and I'm fortunate enough to have now got the process going with the police in Czechoslovakia, because that's where the money is all frozen. But anyway, that was a reason why I just had enough of this. So when MTI came along, I really wasn't keen to look at it, but I'm just so thankful that I really did have a closer look. And then I got to know Johan, and the rest is history, really. I mean, what I know now and what's getting put in place, and I wish I could actually show you the emails that I've received now from the COO and the corporate governance. And he just sent me an email yesterday. I only opened it up today because I've been so busy, as I've now been invited to the core meeting in Johannesburg on the 6th of July, where all the corporate governance guys will be meeting and discussing the security of Bitcoin. And just on that quickly, Mick, I'm not going to get into it too deeply, but they're actually looking at getting a third. So when we fund the account with MTI, it goes through to the forex broker and it's held in cold storage there and it's safe. but MTI actually looking at a third-party company insure all the Bitcoin as well. So some people are saying, what happens to the Forex broker? It disappears, which they won't. They've been around for 10 years. It's AAA broker. But if they did, the Bitcoin are going to be insured by a third-party company. So all these type of things that they're putting in place, to me, it's just it's incredible. It's remarkable.
Can I suggest that you give whatever disclosure you can next Tuesday for your visit to this call? We're using this Zoom link because it's a 500 capacity, and I imagine with the Australia on fire business-wise as it is, we may have more than 100 people. So we need the bigger room. Maybe we can get a couple of screenshots. Maybe we can get some of the emails or a flavor of everything that's happening. So look, we get the rest of the story, I guess, and how you're helping people in MTI as we go. But we're very, very gracious for your kindly intervention here today at very short notice, just to quell some fears and give, in advance of Tuesday, a much needed boost in security and confidence to the people here. So, what parts of Australia are your daughters in, Pete?
They're actually in the younger ones in Maroochydore, Coolum area, and they were both there. And my older daughter, she's 23. They're 20 and 23. My older one's involved with a policeman there, an Australian chap. They had just moved up, I can't remember the name, a little bit north, Townsville. So they are there, loving it. We were over in Australia for the first time last year. Myself and my wife went over for 5 weeks into Maroochydore. Just an incredible place. We loved it. And we surf as well. We're a surfing family, except my wife. She loves the beach. But yeah, so I'm really, really looking forward to coming over, and we're at the Gold Coast as well, and love it over there.
So Tim, we've been involved in the referral program. Once again, we have to stress, guys, it's completely optional. I think Peter will have given you a bit of an appetite for it because of the way he's able to leverage his time now and help people. There's a solid service behind this. We offer these webinars, as Gordon will attest to, 24/7. I don't mind if it's middle of the night in Ireland. We'll come and help you to succeed because therein lies our success. But it's a passive income. A referral program was the natural choice to market MTI. They could have went out to the advertising scene, but why not keep that advertising market budget, that 25%, and give it to people who are building teams? So it's your chance to create a life-changing second income. And the trading requirements are zero. The trading happens daily. You don't have to get involved there. Now, we did mention a 10% referral fee. In Bitcoin, this is insanely generous. I keep using the word insane, but what I've come across here, I don't think there's any other word to describe it. I could say wildly, I could say excessively, I could say hugely. It's just what this guy has put together is just so insane and so clever that it beggars belief. If you bring someone to the table, to this very, very worthy opportunity, you're going to get 10% of a referral fee, which will register immediately their funds clear in your back office. And there'll be a countdown clock if you go into wallet section. You can even open a free account if you don't have one and follow what I'm doing. If you want to take notes, you go into wallet, and all of the action and all of the fun happens 3 tabs down from the top and 3 tabs up from the bottom. So immediately your referral funds clear. They're in the trading system the following full trading day, and your 10% bonus is flagged for release to the minute 7 days afterwards. So you'll see that in pending bonuses. When it expires from pending bonuses, in other words, becomes available to you, it then you go into tab 3 from the bottom, which is internal fund transfer. You can transfer that to your withdrawal wallet, or you can, as most people do at the start, add it to your trading pool, because you want to, as aggressively as possible, grow and leverage your store of Bitcoin. So the referral fees are 10%. It's most important because this was the one stumbling block I had in my initial understanding 5 or 6 weeks ago. It's most important to realize that this 10% is paid by Johann Steinberg from traditional residual profits already in storage by the company. So he's taking a chance that you won't run off into the sunset. We discussed that with Pete, but the 10% is paid to you 1 week later. Okay, so this is paid from residual profits that the company have made. This allows 100% of your referrals Bitcoin to go into trade and no commissions to be paid from it. Therefore, there is no direct incentive to gather people to the table. And this is what makes us a million miles away from anything related to Ponzi allegations, okay? To get the 10%, you need a recommended minimum Bitcoin to the value of $100. Now, this was designed specifically for say, Asian markets, maybe some of the South African market. And what we're loosely saying here, and there's no minimum as such, this is a suggested minimum, recommended minimum. We're saying if you start everybody at $200 US plus a little extra to give leeway for the slippage in price of Bitcoin. Because if your account drops under the $200 value with the slippage of Bitcoin price temporarily even, then your referral fees could be in question. Also, your binary fees will be in question, okay? So just have that little bit of extra in, that's our recommendation. I'm gonna bring Tim in very shortly because he's still much stronger in this than I am. Okay, the binary commission is divided proportionally weekly. We can show you how in a back office presentation if you wish, a live presentation. But you must have that suggested $200 minimum, which is why we suggest people start there in your own personal MTI account. Now you must also refer two people personally at $100 each. So one left leg and one right leg sale, direct sale, left and right of $100 each. For the purpose of the exercise, let's just start them at $200 because it just makes things much less confusing as we go, okay? Now, the leadership bonuses, this is the 5% that Johan secured in taking back from the traders. They were on 30%, they're now on 25%, and he split that into P1 and P2 of 2.5% each. So to get a P1 share, and this works for everybody you bring into the business, okay? And you'll get 8 weeks of a share payment from them. You must have your own value at $200, and you must have a personal referral that's binary qualified. So when you bring in, if Joe brings in Mary and helps Mary to become binary qualified, so Joe brings in Mary, Mary then brings in John on the left and Fred on the right, and they have $100 each. Let's keep it all at 200, shall we? If they have their left and right sale, you get a P1 share, and that helping that person to become binary qualified, you get one share in that pool. You'll see it changing on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday as the trading volume accrues, and you'll see exactly the amount of Bitcoin which will be released to you that very Saturday. So this coming Saturday, I have, for instance, 3 or 4 shares. I think it's 4 shares in the P1 pool. Tim probably has 10. But those shares will be released and can be withdrawn or put into the trading pool this coming Saturday. And they grow Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You'll see the final one there after Friday's trading on Saturday morning. So for everybody you help, that's a direct referral to become binary qualified. You'll get that share that's valid for 8 weeks, okay? And then it'll just drop off the system. The P2 share is also 2.5% of the Bitcoin profit weekly. You must, once again, have your value at 200. And you must have a personal referral that's P1 qualified, okay? So when you help your personal referral to become P1 qualified themselves, that means they must have a personal referral that's binary qualified. If you keep all of these figures at 200, it just opens up all of the income streams. It's not the company presentation, it's just our recommendation. We live in the first world, not the third world. If you're going to take a business serious, then this is what duplicates down through your network and will make you more money in the end. And it's only, of course, based on affordability. So for every personal referral that's P1 qualified, that means they've got someone that's binary qualified, you will earn proportionately from the members' weaker legs. And this, once you achieve it, is valid indefinitely. Okay, so for P1, you can have as many P1 shares as you help people to become binary qualified. But for P2, you just need, and correct me on this if I'm wrong, Tim, I'm sure I'm right. For P2, you just need to help one person who's P1 qualified to get someone who's P1 qualified, okay? So you need a personal referral that's P1 qualified to earn the P2 share indefinitely, and that's for life. And that's the basis of the plan. And I find that the binary demonstrations here in graphic form are a little convoluted and a little confusing, okay? The one thing I show this slide for is how deep you can earn on the binary is dependent on your personal Bitcoin balance. This is amongst other things to protect your sponsor. So you'll start off with your 200 as suggested. That'll give you 10 levels of binary. It'll give you the time to learn and grow and get confidence in the system. And when you get to $1,000 in Bitcoin value in your top position or in your private position, you may have a family position underneath it, I don't know. You'll then reach deeper down into the binary to 20 levels. It may seem like a steep curve, and it is, but it's insanely profitable if you use it properly. When you get to 5,000, it's 30 levels, and when you get to 10,000, it goes to infinity. Is that fair enough, Tim? Because I think the other slides that come in are calculations that people will get to know in the end, leadership bonuses you'll get to know in the end. I find this slide particularly convoluted. I think it's best explained vocally. But I'll hand over to you. Maybe there's a couple of screenshots you can show us. These slides to me are a bit confusing. So I hope I've given it, you know, just the credence it deserves, just verbally. But once again, these are something you can take a screenshot on as you build your confidence through the system to put up with questions and objections and deal with them in a proper and efficient way. So I'll hand over to Tim. Anything else, Tim, to add?
Yeah, I mean, just I mean, first of all, that's exactly right. Everything you said there is perfectly makes perfect sense. Now, what I would say to people is, don't get put off by that. When I see binaries and things like that, quite honestly, it gives me the heebie-jeebies. Right? When I see these charts, things it does frighten a lot of people. But the important thing to remember here, that all of those commissions, the referral fees, and the leadership bonuses are all paid from the trading profit. So if there's no trading profit, it's not affected, right? But unfortunately, we've seen trading profit every single day over the last 12 months. And it's not, and generally, I don't show the referral system to people when I first bring them on board, because there's no need to complicate things early on, because it's an investment opportunity primarily. And they will have an opportunity over time to see this a few times to get their head around it. So other than that, that's it.